Hi. Welcome to movie Synopsis. We first see a girl, Tinja, doing gymnastics exercises at the beginning of the film. Later, Tinja's mother comes out from behind who was doing vlogging. She approaches Tinja and tinkles her, and Tinja then tinkles her father. We are shown this is a happy family and they create a family video. Later, they end the blog and bid their audience farewell in the camera. They hear a sound and when Tinja goes to check, she sees a crow and when she opens the window, the crow comes inside. The crow arrives and starts breaking the glass ornaments. The father and brother of Tinja try to capture this crow. On the other hand, Tinja's mother was quite concerned with her interior design, that the crow might also damage it. Later, when it comes on the floor it breaks, and when a crow comes on the floor, Tinja holds the crow while throwing a cloth at it. She asks her mother what to do with it afterward. Later, her mother kills the crow while twisting its neck. Tinja was surprised seeing this, she was worried for the crow. Later, she removes the crow per her mother's directions and discards it in the trash. She doesn't notice as she places the crow in the trash can while returning that the crow was yet alive and was still shaking. Later, Tinja runs into a girl who lives next door, who is Reetta. Tinja wants to hold the cute dog that Reetta has kept. Tinja is given Reetta's dog to hold, but the animal eventually bites Tinja. Reetta was astounded because it had never been done with anyone else in this way. The nighttime moment where Tinja's mother, she was singing a song to her son in an effort to get him to sleep. However, her son kept telling her to sing the song loudly. Later, Tinja also arrives and starts singing the song. After a while, Tinja with her mother goes into her bedrooms to sleep. Tinja's mother shows her a video of her own blog there. She did this to demonstrate that their family is happy. The following day, Tinja tells her mother that she invited her neighbor Reetta. Her mother, however, advises her to concentrate on gymnastics, because there was going to be a competition there, and Tinja's mother wanted her to win. Tinja hears an odd sound when she is about to fall asleep at night. The same bird that her mother had killed was making that sound. Tinja desires to examine the trash can that had arrived at their home early this morning, but the crow was missing from the trash can. She enters the woodland while following the sound. The crow was in extreme anguish as she observes the crow lying on the ground. Tinja wants to save the bird from the pain. She feels that she needs to murder it to death. She throws a huge stone at its skull, smashing it, and she ends up killing the crow. Near a nest, she sees an egg that she looks. The egg is brought along, and she places it under her teddy bear for warmth. The next day she went to the gym and she couldn't perform well. She wasn't performing well like the other girls in the gym. Her instructor warns her that if she wants to win this, she must perform well. You cannot win this competition in this manner as you are currently performing. Later, Tinja is invited to hang out with her friends. Tinja declines to go after making an excuse. Despite this, a buddy persisted in making the trip with Tinja. The other girls say as they depart, that Tinja doesn't join us for hangouts. Nor today, not before, and Tinja was really concerned. She checks the same egg, which has gotten bigger, after returning home. The egg's heartbeat was audible to her. She later records a vlog with her father, brother, and brother. Her mom has gone out for some days. When her mother returns from being out, she cuddles her young son. She learns that her mother prefers another man. She wanted to inform her father about this but was unable to. She emerges while claiming that mom's blogging seminar went well. When Tinja enters her room, she notices that the egg has gotten bigger. She keeps the egg inside the teddy bear to conceal it. She hides it so that no one can see it. She couldn't perform well in her gymnastics when she was performing in her room. However, her mother has faith in her, knowing that she'll do well and undoubtedly win the competition. Reetta has now enrolled in classes. Reetta is a new student, but she performs so well. Tinja's mother is likewise impressed with her. She desires Tinja to perform like Reetta. She just stands there with her daughter till she performs well. They are informed that it is time to pack up when the bus shows up later. She asks her to practice, but she replies that she will stay put until she delivers a flawless landing. Later, during the night, Tinja is shown watching the developing egg. In the egg, she notices slivers. Later, we see her mom with Tinja, who tells her that she likes someone else. Tinja, however, doesn't like this. Tinja is shown sobbing in the following shot as she sits in front of the egg. Her tears pull upon the egg and are absorbed by it. Later, we witness something emerging from the egg. A creature wants to emerge from it as its shell was progressively breaking. Tinja hides it in her room's cabinet after becoming terrified. Later, she witnesses a huge bird emerge that eventually disappears. Before leaving, the bird peeks inside the cabinet. Tinja thus starts to feel scared, and in the meantime, her father walks into her room. Tinja hides shattered eggshells under her bed. She reports to her father that a bird entered her room. The same bird returns to her room the following night. She gets afraid when the bird gets close to her. She notices that she won't suffer any harm from this bird. Tinja is able to touch the bird and inhale its smell. She takes the bird to take a bath for that reason. They play in the bathtub without her showing any fear. Tinja's younger brother walks in and asks to use the restroom in the meantime. Tinka locks the room so that he cannot see the bird. The bird starts to cry at night when Tinja was sleeping after crawling under the bed. Tinja, after singing a song, makes it sleep. Later, both the bird and Tinja fall asleep. Later, the bird's sleep is disturbed by the sound of a dog barking. The bird awoke, went outside, and killed it who was barking for a long. The bird was on Tinja when she awakes. The lifeless body of the dog was there as well as the bird. After becoming quite concerned, Tinja buries the dog's corpse. Her younger brother notices while doing this. Additionally, he was concerned because Tinja denied him access to her room last night. Later, he and his father visit her room. Tinja's father departs because he doesn't have faith in his son. To get something to eat for him, Tinja visits a pet store. Reetta meets there and she asks her whether she has any birds. No, Tinja replies, she doesn't have any birds yet, but she will shortly. The girls nearby were strangely glancing toward Tinja. Tinja's bird has killed Reetta's dog because he had bitten her. Reetta is seen posting pictures of her lost puppy all over the place. She asks Tinja's assistance for this. Tinja receives a hairbrush from her mother at home. Her brother doesn't feel well about this because he received nothing. When he notices the missing dog posters, he soon takes the dog that Tinja buried. He claims Tinja murdered the dog, but Tinja's parents don't trust him. They assert that you are telling lies, son, and they depart after saying this. Later, we see a shadow in Tinja's room. And while concealing his identity, Tinja's brother observes outside her room. The same bird is under the bed when he first enters Tinja's room. He becomes really frightened and turns back. Tinja is seen with her parents on the opposite side. She has fits and returns to her room once she feels better. She begins to rebuke her bird and her mother followed her. When she comes after Tinja, she doesn't see anything under the bed. She feels an awful smell and then moved in the direction of the cabinet. Tinja enters her room in the meantime. She thinks her mother has spotted the bird. But the bird was hidden upside when she sees. When she notices the bird in the cabinet, she hides it there. When it eventually becomes hungry, Tinja offers the bird the food. The bird was quite concerned, believing Tinja was angry on. But she starts singing the song to calm down her bird. Her bird's feathers and hair are gradually developing, she observes. Tinja gives this bird the name Ellie. One day we see while wearing her clothing, the bird emerges from her cabinet. When the bird leaves the room, Tinja's brother notices him. When he first sees it, he assumes Tinja, but after noticing, he realizes it is something else, and he enters his mother's room scarily. The bird now enters Tinja's mother's room as Tinja's brother starts to get scared. This bird holds her hand, who was sleeping. When she wakes up, no one was there around her. Something liquid was on her hand. She is scared and leaves after getting a knife. She starts to look around. We see Tinja's bird. Ellie approaches Tinja's mother. After spotting its shadow, Tinja's mom turns back. It was Tinja's younger brother, her younger son. As a result of his fear, he claims Tinja is a ghost after hugging her mom. His mom says it is an illusion, that you might be dreaming. In the following scene, Tinja is seen keeping a flower in the bird's hair. She calls it handsome. When she goes for gymnastics practice, she enjoys a lot with Reetta. We see Tinja's mother, who wasn't happy with Reetta because she excelled in gymnastics practice as compared to Tinja. When the two girls spoke with one another, Tinja's mom observes that Reetta is doing quite well in gymnastics. Tinja will need to put in a lot of practice for this. Later, we see Tinja's cabinet where the bird was attempting to emerge. Reetta returns home after his practice session. She senses that something is pursuing her as she walks. While driving, she has a dreadful feeling that something bad is going to happen. She begs her mother to come back, but she pays no attention. Reetta can be seen escaping the dread there. She was frightened before stopping when she noticed the bird Ellie in front of her. Ellie appeared like a human, and Tinja was also having fits in her car. Tinja's mother tried to explain to her that everything will be alright. While skating, I used to worry like this. Tinja felt depressed when she returned home. Her mother speculates that she may be depressed. She, therefore, requests that she take some time to rest at home. The following morning, Tinja's mother informs her during breakfast. I'll drop you off at your uncle's house today. She had been referring to the same uncle, who she liked. Tinja visits Tero, her uncle, at his home. She notices a kid that was born to Tero's first spouse who died. Tinja couldn't sleep at night because of that crying baby. She notices her bird, Ellie, at the window in the meanwhile. It sleeps with her after entering her room. The next day, Tinja's mother was seen taking some selfies before breakfast. Tero, however, finds it offensive that someone would post images of his home anywhere. Don't worry, Tinja's mother assures her, that I won't post these images on social media. The man's son was being fed by Ninja's mother. In the meantime, Tinja is eating while the food is falling from her hands. The man Tero claims that it is not a big deal and he throws the food down. He remarks that the food can also be slipped from me as well. We meet Tinja's mother as she hears a news of Reetta. She takes Tinja to the hospital and she sees Reetta is quite injured. Tinja wants to hold her hand, but Reetta wakes up and starts screaming. She returns home after being really frightened. She starts to scold her bird Ellie and asks why you've done this. She was rebuking her bird and wanted to slap its face, but she doesn't react. She then hits herself in the face as Ellie the bird watches. It comes and gives Tinja a hug to help her feel at ease. Later, we notice that the bird's face becomes like Tinja. The man Tero is seen with Tinja in the following scene. He admits to Tinja that he enjoys fixing broken things. Later, he displays to her all of the competitions in which he had excelled. Additionally, Tinja informs him of her gymnastics competition. When she wasn't able to perform well. Do you actually like gymnastics? Tero inquires. It is a good game, according to Tinja. Later, she hears screaming and rushes to feed Ellie with meal. Tero also desires to enter and tries to unlock the door. Tinja was locking it, but he opens the door. He doesn't react with shock when Ellie appears in front of him. Because he thinks her Tinja, he notices Ellie eating oddly from a bowl. He promises to inform Tinja's mother about this. As Tero is being attacked by Ellie, Tinja locks the room to protect it from him. Tero's hand gets stuck in the door the entire time. After much work, Tinja succeeds in saving him, and Tero then moved on. He was currently bandaging his hand. Behind him, we see Tinja, who had packed her bags. She wants to go from there. Tinja says that I should go from there. You don't have to go from there, according to Tero. Tinja keeps on apologizing from Tero. But Tero claims that he'll tell her mother and everything will be fine. Tinja says please keep my secret a secret, and don't tell anything to my mom. Tero asks Tinja does she feel ragged for making her compete in the competition forcibly. Tinja stays silent until her mother shows up later. She was taking her with her to the competition. Before heading to the competition, she is asked to rehearse. After witnessing the infant, Tinja requests to accompany him. She noticed her bird Ellie in the window and she worries, afraid it'll hurt the baby. However, her mother chooses not to bring the infant. While performing in the competition, Tinja senses that Ellie would do something wrong with the child. We can see Ellie has entered the baby's room on the other side, having an axe in its hand as Tinja tumbles to the ground while performing. She sustained a hand injury. Ellie experienced this pain as well, and the axe collapses from its hands. Tero enters his infant's room in the meantime. Tero has seen Ellie, who flees the room, and he sees the axe in his room. He becomes aware that she has come to murder my child. Tinja was still believing her Tinja, but it was Ellie. On the opposite side, Tinja returns with her mother. She didn't perform well, and her mother was very upset with her. She doesn't inquire further because her hand was also hurt. Tero forbids them from entering when Tinja was coming with her mom. He asserts that the way you treat your daughter isn't normal. She tried to kill my little baby. Tinja's mother questions how she could have done this. She was with me and we'd gone to the competition. How can you justify that she has attempted to kill your daughter? But Tero doesn't bother them. Her mother was yelling as they were heading home. She was bumping her head against the car's steering wheel. Her head was covered in blood and she was telling Tinja, "Please don't make my life more difficult." Tinja's father was astonished to see her mom when they return home, because their face was covered in blood. When Tinja enters her house, she sees Ellie through the window. She won't let her in because she believes Ellie is to blame for her difficulties. Tinja's father spots Ellie while she is leaving and assumes she is Tinja. We watch Tinja's mother uploading her videos. When Tinja visits her mother, she informs her that you smell. As Tinja enters the bathroom, she notices that Ellie has returned to her room. She sits in her cabinet once again after arriving. When her father sees her, he wants to give her privacy. So, when she is left alone, she may realize her errors. When Tinja visited her mother, she was visibly upset with her. She plans to capture a video for her blog. Her hair was breaking while she was brushing it. The hair of the allies was also breaking on the other side. Ellie rags and makes an attack on Tinja's mother. Tinja encounters now to save her mother. Her mother gets astonished when she sees her. Tinja asks that Ellie must now leave. She explains everything to her mother about how she discovered an egg. Everything is happening as a result. She now wants her to stay away from her though. Her mother gives her a hug and assures her that everything will be fine. Both are holding knives and plan to murder Ellie. They hear screams in the background. Tinja's father and brother have been heard making the noise. They arrive there right away, and Tinja's mother warns them. There is a girl there who looks like Tinja and you have to stay away from her. After commenting that what I had seen wasn't a dream, Tinja's brother walks away. Tinja's mother enters her room and starts to search Tinja's cabinet. While Ellie wasn't around, she sneakily attacks Tinja's mother. Tinja's mother collapses, although she was clutching a knife. She then attacks Ellie's legs, inflicting pain on Tinja as well. Tinja's mother gets up and declares her desire to kill Ellie. Tinja, however, feels horrible and does not want her mother to murder Ellie. Tinja moves in front of Ellie as her mother attacks her. Tinja's mother shouts a lot during this. "My daughter is killed as a result of what I did." Tinja collapses, and Ellie's mouth fills with her blood. Father and brother of Tinja have arrived and they see Tinja has died. Ellie, who resembles Tinja now, is visible on the other side. She awakens as her facial wounds recover. She appears to be another Tinja after seeing her. Tinja's mother is seen sobbing loudly on the opposite side. This film ends sadly here.